Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Kevin Maurer and I'm your professor for your research class. I want to talk to you about a couple of things today that are coming up as I'm starting to look at drafts. We're supposed to touch base this week, so I'd like to either take a look at something you've written or set up a phone call so we can talk about how to display your data. You had questions and secondary questions with answers. You should have a table or a graph that displays those answers unless it's all prose, and then you can do it in paragraph format. But even if with interviews or focus groups, you still want to put the questions that hit and have a lot of answers perhaps in a table, because in order to talk about it, you have to have it somewhere so that the reader can see, okay, that's what the data was. So if the students throughout your interview session with them about whatever the topic was said a bunch of things, you want to have those in a table. So it might just be question on one column and then answer, student 1, student 2, student 3. All of those things that you've set forth as questions and you have answers to, whether it's statistical data or narrative data, should be somewhere, and it should be as easy to read as possible. When we're talking about those tables and figures and graphs, please access that the handout that I put through in an announcement. I'll attach it to this too. That is super key. The ones that I've read so far really need to reference that as you're moving forward. A lot of you are addressing complex issues, and so it's easy to get to writing sentences that go from this to this to this to this to this to this and are like this eventually. If you're doing that, beware that when you put sentences together or complete sentences together with an and or a but, you need a comma or a semicolon. Also, try to keep your tenses the same in your findings section. So, especially some of you are switching tenses even within the same paragraph. So, do that. One way with the commas, if you read it aloud, anytime you pause, you should put a comma. And when you start a sentence with a prepositional phrase, there should be a comma at the end of that. Otherwise, it's just like one big prose run together. It's hard to read and it's grammatically incorrect. Please make sure you reference your APA style book. There's a lot of things that will help you as you go along with this. And the final thing is, as you're talking about your findings, it is so easy to get excited. And I get excited too, because you did a good study, a lot of you within your school or within your classroom, and it seems like you've proven something you're passionate about, which is why you chose that topic to begin with. Be careful. So even at the dissertation level, when you have hundreds of participants, you have to take a lot of time to narrow and isolate factors before you can start throwing around words like prove. You want to become friends with the word seems. You want to be friends with the words indicates, suggests, and make sure you limit it. So if you want to use words like prove, first of all, be very, very careful. Because unless you know and eliminate it beyond a shadow of a doubt all the other possibilities, you didn't prove it. You just found something interesting and suggestive. So make sure you limit the use of those words, but you're just really going to be able to apply it to your context, which is maybe a classroom or a group of students. It's not generalizable even to all the schools in your county or even within your school system. So please be careful with that, because it's like being a scientist. Proving takes a lot of people in a study, and what we're finding through this is some interesting information that seems to suggest or could indicate. Please use that kind of terminology in your verbs rather than I proved that making videos is better for online students. To prove that, I would need a lot of people in my study. I have to isolate the variables, so the only thing that I was measuring is what videos have to do with people liking online classes. So please be careful with that. All right, well, thanks for taking the time today. As you can see, spring is coming. It might snow tonight, but hey, it's okay today. So I'm excited about talking to you a little bit, and I look forward to seeing your papers. Please send me drafts. I'll try to turn them around in 24 hours and get them back to you. so that you can continue working. The best way for me to help you and kind of guide you is to see something, or we could talk on the phone. Thanks so much and have a great week.